when you guys head over to House Thalivar, what you are going to see is that you can see the tower from at least a half-mile away. You all have seen it for quite a while, long before you actually entered near the city. You've been seeing this tower looming above. As you get closer and closer, you see that it looms above because it is quite literally on a promontory that is well above all of the actual houses around. But as you walk closer to it, you actually climb about 100 feet up that winding path to get to the actual base of the tower itself. And from the north side of the tower, you can see almost the entirety of the north side of the building is destroyed. It has crumbled into dust for many senses. It has scaffolding all up along that north side, and the tower itself is another 160 feet tall. So the top of the tower on some level is about 200 feet above, or 240 feet or so above where somebody would stand below. I guess really the top of the tower would be 260. The top floor of the tower would be like the 230, 240 range. So this tower looms above all of Leyland, including the Temple of Lathander, which is probably the next tallest structure in the town, which is tiny compared to it. When you go to approach the tower itself, and again, you'll have a certain familiarity with Vanfyr, but you will come across 3 Lords Alliance who are standing guard at the base of the tower. In the initial discussion with them, on some sense, you will be speaking with Heirloom, Cause, and Gory. These are 3 different soldiers. All of them seem, in general, rather normal soldiers. But all of them are shaken by the idea of entering the tower itself. And while they are not necessarily telling you that you can't go in, they are warning you not to go in and telling you that they have not seen Sharwyn for some time. So at some point you'll kind of be asking them questions, and Sharwyn's been acting quite weird since she's gone in there, and you can go after her, but well, sir, I don't mean to tell you what to do, but I would not dare that place. She should be out in time. There's no food there. She should surely have to come out shortly here, and it would be best. They're rebuilding it, but it's still not safe. The things that wizard did. Sir, we don't mean to be against going forward, but there's certain things that you can't swing a sword at. He opened up dimensions, sir. There's places that are open in there that go... Well, they say it's destroyed, but the tower has haunted this place for some time. The things you'll encounter in that place. Last time I went to her, I heard whispers. Turning around and nothing would be there. A chill in the air as if we were on the spine of the world. This place... it's not here. It's almost as if it touches a different land. I saw ghosts. I was walking through, and I was cleaning up some of the kitchen, and I swear there was a man in a robe, and he was just standing in front of me reading a book. When I told him he shouldn't be in there, he spun around, he looked at me, and kind of like looks around at you all. Well, everything went quiet. He opened his mouth and there was no sound. I couldn't hear the wind. I couldn't hear the water crashing. Everything went quiet, and a moment later, I went to yell out. I saw Kaz walking by. I yelled out for him. Nothing happened, and I looked back. Man with the book was gone. It was a ghost. You shouldn't go in there. These things, you can't. There's nothing we can do about them. And she's in there. She doesn't worry about them, but she's in there. We can't go there. Don't go in there. So the one who hasn't spoke yet will kind of look up and he'll find the sun in the sky, and it's probably like early AM-ish. And he'll take a moment to kind of like judge the sun. I was last in maybe 5 hours ago. I saw Sharwyn on the 3rd floor. She didn't seem to respond to me. She was studying some of the tomes of the old man. She seemed lost in thought. Not all that odd for what we've come across her and experienced. Her studies are for Daggalt, and we understand that she is doing what she needs to do. And yet, she still didn't react to me. Maybe not a big deal. Her eyes seemed sunken, dark. I don't think she slept. She must have been exhausted from her study. Perhaps she's still in there just reading the tombs she needs to. But with what Heirloom and Kaz have to say, I think it's safe to say she's in there with a creature, and it's very likely Thalivar. We don't have any way to protect her from such things. Yaram was here not long before you. We had told him, we assured him we would hold this position. That's all we were originally charged with. And Sharwyn was last seen safe. She was never worried about what would be there, and she was intrigued by Thalivar. We've done nothing wrong, and she was comfortable. Yaram left. Couldn't have been long before you came here. But it is understood. We will hold this position. No one is allowed to enter the tower. And of course you have done plenty. I don't think Griselda would ask you to do any less than what you desire. When I last left, she was on the 3rd floor. So yeah, inside of the ruins, you all are going to see the entrance is kind of right behind the 3 soldiers, and it's just an open doorway. But you would have also seen that there is an arched passage crumbled on the... I'm looking for an actual orientation. It's not here, but I think it's the west side. I think the tower actually points with the corners of the tower to the cardinal directions. So it's actually kind of the southwest side is where, yeah, that archway is. And then the open door is on the southeast side. But basically you have those 2 different choices. If you look at all before heading in, you'll see that there is a stair that leads up from the southwest side. But that doorway is also a little bit lower. So I think overall with everybody's stats, you can probably surmise that it's either a stair up to likely the same floor, or just that entrance doorway to walk into what is likely the same room. So as you head forward, you see small room about 25 by 25. There's a table kind of caddy corner between the two different entrance doorways. There's 4 pillars that kind of sit in the cardinal directions, and the table is a little bit closer to the northern pillar, but it basically faces between the northern and the southern pillar. You see signs that there is a staircase on the west side of the tower, as well as a corridor on the east-northeast side of the tower. But you see those two places where you can go right away, or there seems to be a closed door on the northwest side of the room, effectively between that corridor and the stairways. I don't think anything about this tower is going to say fairly sturdy to you. I think you should approach everything with the understanding that a good chunk of the tower is crumbled. It's actually rather disappointing that this is the side of the tower that the map actually shows you. Let me see if I can actually... I didn't prepare for this, but let me see if I can actually find one that shows you the opposite sides. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'll do. So that's the 4th floor scaffold. That's the 3rd floor scaffold. And that's the 2nd floor scaffolding. So you guys know from walking up on this place that the 1st floor is relatively intact. Here, let me actually show that scaffold. So that's like the base scaffolding around the side. You know, above it, there's about 10 feet of actually standing space. Above that, there's about 20 feet. And above that, there's next to like less than half of the tower on the highest level. So again, that's a reference of what you see from the outside of this tower, of how much of it is collapsed. And though, again, I feel like I probably could have a really good picture of the north side of the tower to show you, I feel like just knowing of how much scaffolding is on that northeastern side of the tower, you should have a pretty good sense that stepping on this stone doesn't give you the same assurance that stone would normally give you. While the stair looks perfectly fine, looks perfectly functional, you're not going to be walking around this place like, yep, I'm walking on stone, everything is safe. This is like Indiana Jones style of every step might crumble out from underneath. So wait, what are you saying about supporting the rope? Like Jason's going to climb up and then Vanfyr, and then you'll help pull up everybody as like the twosome? So you're going to climb up first? I'm just trying to get a clear picture of what you're actually going forward with. You like can't support from the bottom is what I'm getting at. So are you going to follow up Justin, or are you going to lead ahead? As far as you all can tell, you have entered on the lowest level. If you walk around it before entering, but you walked right into the doorway, so you don't really know about what the opposite side has. But very quickly after walking in, you do recognize that that other entrance was to this room, and it's simply just a small stairway down. So as you start to climb the stairs, Justin, roll a dexterity saving throw for me. You round like the first little corner of this like very tight spiraling staircase. It probably has like 3 loops before you actually get around to the other side. And as soon as you start to round the corner, a book flies past your head. And you're very deft at moving to the side, and it just passes by you. But as soon as you started walking up the stairs, and you're looking at this, just no way a book could have flown around the like spiral of this staircase, but you just dodged a book. There's no response. Yeah, he's still pretty much within view of you all, like right around the actual entrance to the stair. He would be probably about like 45 degrees into the actual stair. So you guys would still be able to see him, and you would see the book that's like basically sitting on the ground right behind him. What language do you speak? You don't see anything familiar about this text. It doesn't really blend for you. Just seems like gibberish. But it's written, it's got some sort of script on it. It's got a leather cover. It seems like it's a nice book, and it's in pretty good condition, albeit it's definitely has wear and tear. But it seems pretty old, and it seems pretty nice. Helke, what languages do you speak? As they start to progress up the stairs, they're still close to you, but they very quickly leave your sight as they're probably like 2 to 4 feet above the ground. They finish making that first rotation where they're now like on the opposite side of the wall as they do this tight spiral. So you're alone, and right as they leave your view, as the last foot disappears, you just feel a cold breath of air over your right ear, and you hear words whispered into your ear that you don't recognize. You think you would look behind you as you freak? Gotcha. So yeah, as you all progress up through the stairway, you are going to arrive on the second floor. By this point, I should stress, like, inside of most of the tower, it's essentially dark. There's not like too many windows in a lot of the areas. There are windows in certain places, but there's going to be plenty of places where the humans are walking around in darkness. So there's different levels of where you will actually come across needing light. The dwarf will be in a different circumstance, obviously. But you guys very quickly inside of this hallway recognize that there's not natural light coming into the stairway. So for a good bit of the stairway, you are walking in darkness as you come up. Eventually, you do come to the top of the stairway, and you see that this hall across the central portion of the tower is lit by natural light coming in both from the southwest as well as from the hole in the side of the tower, down this about like 35, 40-foot wall, and that's coming from the northeast. Who has Arcana proficiency? If you have Arcana, roll an Arcana check for me. Nope, need proficiency, otherwise it doesn't matter. So what corner were you looking around, Bruno? This one doesn't work for me. I need cardinal directions. I have 3 screens in front of me. I am not always looking at the battle map. Like, you walked out of the stairway, you're looking towards the, effectively, this is where it sucks that there's no cardinal on this map, but we're going for east here. So yeah, you just look down, you see the hallway, you see the scaffolding. There's 3 doors in view, 2 to the south of you and 1 to the north. And you're pretty sure that you see a shattered door along the very west or eastern side of this hallway. Yes. So yeah, you just head down the hallway. Towards the end of it, do you get to it? Do you see an open room in front of you? Seems to be a library filled with a lot of books. There's a statue of a peasant girl. She has her forefinger pressed to her lips, just in that hush gesture. And just see a library ahead of you. What's everybody doing as he walks away? So you all can proceed down the hallway. You watch as Bruno enters into a room that you quickly seems to be a library. This statue is just standing there, facing towards the southeast. She's whispering silence. Seems to have a bunch of bookshelves. Bruno, roll an investigation. They look like bookshelves, and your book would fit on the bookshelves. What languages do you speak, Justin? And roll an investigation for. And technically speaking, one more. So you look over the book in Bruno's hand. Don't recognize the scripts. You look over the books in the library, and it doesn't take you long to see that every single one of these books is the exact same script. Whatever this language is, this whole library seems to be filled with them. You rolled a 1. You already... Hold up. You rolled a 1. You already decided it came from these bookshelves. Yeah, that's... When you roll in, like, any of the mental attributes, there's a certain level of you guys can test stuff, but when you fail, like, you fully believe it. You're not allowed to be, oh yeah, I rolled a 1. Yeah, when I tell you you think the book came from these shelves, it's, you know the book came from these shelves because it's a book, and books come from shelves. It fits perfectly. It seems it was always meant to be there. And it's probably in order. What languages do you speak? Doesn't seem familiar to you. Not a single one of you has even started to think that anything even looks like a script yet. They all look like gibberish and scribblings more than actual words. But Justin would have already picked up that there's an order to things. You see that this is a language. It just may not be a language that Justin speaks. And as you all continue to investigate these, for what it's worth, Helke, do you have any interest in books? Does this pique you at all? Gotcha. So for what it's worth, it's not long. You guys are in here for maybe 5-10 minutes before you recognize that whatever this pattern is, it's no language that any of you speak. But though it looks like scribblings, this is probably a language nonetheless. So yeah, I think Jason just said like the few more doors on the south side of this tower that you can check. There's 2 doors on the south end, like the southeast. And then there's another door on the same side as what you were on, which is effectively the northwest. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna say, fuck it. North. That's my OCD at play. So which one are you going to on the south end of the hallway, my bad? So as you open the door, actually, you know what, just give me 1 second here, because I think, as you all leave that room, as you're walking out of it, yeah, you'll see that the opposite side, where there's like a collapsed wall, close to where the actual side of the tower itself is collapsed, has a bookshelf. It's behind the wall, but on some level, as you spin around, Justin, you're observant, you're going to notice that there's another bookshelf in that room. Like directly south, as you like spin around to walk out of that room, it like catches your eye like around the corner of this wall. Because again, like if we switch it to just east, that whole eastern side is collapsed, and there is generally a full wall in front of you, but it is enough that you are going to notice that that small room, like outside on the scaffolding, or just simply like part of it shows through the hallway, you'll recognize that there seems to be another bookcase along that wall. So without the actual curveball, you're welcome to continue to the next room, and depending on how much time you all end up spending up here, you are going to discover that every level of this, or every room on this level, is a library. You can take the time to look over them if you'd like. This is purely one of those things. It depends how much time you all invest in this procedure. Gotcha. So you'll go into the second room, and you will confirm this is likely, how long were you with, God, I can't even remember. Chris, what was your first character's name, your wizard? How long were you with Edrin? How high of a level did you level Edrin? 3 or so? And Justin took Observant as your initial feat, right? I don't think it would be... Roll an intelligence for me. That's what we'll do. So you remember at different times when Edrin had the time to study his books. When you saw him writing, he would be writing in a script that you've never seen elsewhere. It seemed all his own. And that's enough for you to maybe assume that wizards write in hidden scripts, and that's pretty regular for wizards. And as you go through the first room, doesn't really dawn on. As you go through the second library, it starts to click that this might be Thalivar's private library, and all of these books are his private notes. Vanfyr, how old are you? 21? As you are walking behind them, I assume you're still kind of like third in line? Like it's Bruno, Jess, and Vanfyr, and then Helke? So, as Justin kind of takes the corner and goes back towards the stairs to go up to the next level, you see yourself in the stained glass of the window. And in the instant that you watch it, your flesh ages and starts to sag. Your hair becomes gray and long. Your muscles deteriorate. Your flesh starts to rot away. Your skeleton and your eyes like rot away from your skeleton. And there's just a sun-bleached skeleton ahead of you before it disintegrates in dust. You see yourself in the reflection from the glass. You also see yourself. Even Van. There's no mirror, it's just a reflection of glass. Yeah, even Vanfyr, if he like walks back to it and looks again, it's just him. You guys look over him, he hasn't turned into a skeleton. So Bruno, you walk up another set of stairs, doing like 4-5 loops until you come to another landing. The stairs continue up again. I should have asked this on the second landing, but you're going to walk off on the landing and look around here? This is the third floor where you heard Sharwyn was last seen. My question is are you stepping off of the stairs at the landing, or are you continuing up? Gotcha. So, as you look around, you see another hallway continues down towards the east. There seems to be an opening where there's a bunch of rubble on the north side of the tower here, before it joins where the scaffolding is. Other than that, you do see the sign that there's another room or hallway to the south. But from what you can tell at this point, it seems to be like an open doorway, or effectively like a door sill to the south. So rounding the corner a little bit, you see that the north side of this tower is just open destruction. Much of the tower still remains, but rubble fills much of this level's floor. And it is difficult to walk in, but it's not unfamiliar for a dwarf to pass over stone rubble. As you do round the corner, you see that it is indeed a hallway that leads to a window on this level, and there seems to be a doorway to the east as well as a doorway to the west, both of which are blocked by rubble. And as you look up above you, there is about a 30-foot diameter oculus, which is just a circular opening, but it is built into the floor above you, and much of that is shattered. There's like greenish blue metal rings that seem to go through the stone itself, but other than that initial look, it's almost like rings have pierced through the stone in a very orderly fashion around this point, but you're like standing up, staring almost directly into the west side of that while you look up in this area, but it's pretty safe to assume that the rubble that you're standing on and the rubble that blocks those doors is from the oculus above. You're gonna have to deal with silences here. I'm doing a lot, man. Like, just be patient, relax, slow your fucking roll. No, you are a human. You are a human, and you can relax and slow down. Just enjoy the setting. I'm dealing with a lot of shit, and I'm trying to come up with the correct answer for you. The silence is your friend. So, you could take some time to clear the rubble, and that's simply taking time to move rocks. That's not unfamiliar for anybody. You guys can certainly do that. You feel like if you spend probably about an hour, you would be able to clear it where you would be able to crawl in to either one of these entrances. If you are trying to get into one where you can like walk into it, you're looking at a lot more time, and it's hard to predict how much time that would take. But it is the type of thing that's kind of where you're at. Do you want to try to go to the east? Do you want to try to go to the west? I don't think it's absurd for you guys to recognize if you wanted to go to the east, you could probably walk out on the scaffolding and actually see a little bit more about what you might spot around that corner rather than trying to crawl through it. So the more intelligent thing is probably to try to clear the way into the western side. That sound like what you'll do? You'll start to spend the time clearing the rubble? Roll a performance. As you call out, there's silence for a few moments. And then you hear from behind the rubble, Is Justin? Have you come to Leyland? Oh, uh, oh, what time is it? At this point, you guys would probably guess like you're approaching high sun, so it's probably like for your understanding, like between like 9:30 and 11:30 kind of thing. Probably 9:30 and 11. I think you could get it pretty solid between those degrees. I guess I slept in. So yes. Just coming from the west. That's good. There's doesn't seem to be a door in here. So I think that's the one. I guess. I don't know. I was studying in the library last night. I remember starting to think I had cracked Thalivar's code. Things looked good. And I remember needing to get one of my journals from the dining room. And now I'm in a bedroom. Yeah, more or less, I feel like you guys wouldn't necessarily be waiting during the conversation. There's no reason to necessarily yell as players sitting here. But I feel like that would be more or less what would happen is once you recognize she's back there, I think that would actually light a fire beneath you to probably start working a little bit quicker. So, what I think is, in general, I think we might find that this is probably the most athletic of groups that this group has ever been. Is everybody going to help clear the rubble? Do you think the idea would be to get as many hands on as possible? So what are you guys thinking when you are picking up these stones and you need to clear them? You've got a window on the south end. You have the open area on the north side, and you've got the scaffolding out to like the northeast of you. What are you thinking that you're going to do as you need to clear this rubble away? It is effectively that side. That window would be this window, and the guards would more or less be in that area, just at like the top. But for what it's worth, I mean, you would see that pretty quickly. If you wanted to, you could go out to the scaffold, yell for their attention, and if you guys want to chuck rocks out of the window, that's certainly an option. This could be amazing. I hope the dice do something brilliant. Roll another performance as you yell out for me. All right, word. That's good enough. So yeah, you're able to yell out. The guards look around, afraid for a moment, but they do quickly look up and see that there's an actual body to the voice, and you see that that does calm them on some level. What are you going to tell them? So let's see. You're gonna see as I need to go to the right page with their names. Gory, who was the third one, who was like kind of the most composed, the one who said he did see Sharwyn seem to be like really tired in study when he saw her this morning. He's going to kind of like point to the other two and point over to the west side. And they're going to like walk through that arch to the other side of the where would I draw it? They're kind of like right over here by that staircase. And that's where they'll kind of like hold their position. And you'll just hear a yell from the side as they like get to the arch. Like at the last moment, you might be able to see them as they yell for you to go ahead. Assuming that the three of you basically create a like a bucket line We can do three of you doing athletics checks, and just let me have you do a set of athletics checks to see like how well you guys clear stones, and just passing them one to the next. Like one's picking them up, one's passing them to the next, and one's hucking them out of the window. Jason, what's your athletics? I know rogues can do everything, but I just want to know. Gotcha. No, that's what I mean. Like this, no, he's not a part of this test. Like he did his thing and it crushed it. That's part of why I was laughing. Like this has been a group historically so far that has like no athletics characters, so it just cracks me up that there's three with 6, 7, 6 right now. But yeah, you guys do a pretty solid job. About 45 minutes in, like you think you could crawl in through that little entrance area. Little bit more time, and you could probably make it so somebody could walk through. So yeah, do another check for me. Like throwing little dust particles out. You get a pretty solid like clearing through the next stage. The things do move a little bit slower. You're getting into some larger rocks, so it's taking a little bit more effort to do things. But it's a type of thing you could like squat through it at this point. You can't yet walk through, but you don't have to like fully like go prone to crawl through right now. Continuing on all the way. Who's going first? Roll a wisdom saving throw for me. Vanfyr looks over to you, Jason, tells you, "Don't worry." Goes to walk in or move in through the little area, and he starts to walk off towards the stairs, and starts to go down a level. As he yells off for you, you feel like you needed something from downstairs. And again, this is a moment like Vanfyr, like effectively you should role play. Like I need something from downstairs. I think I left. Feel like I left something on the table. Like it's anything like that. Basically, you have a thought in your head that you need something from downstairs in that entrance hall that you guys came into. Yeah, again, anytime mental stuff comes up, like there's a certain level of like you lose control of your character. It's one of the weird things, but I need you to role play the thought that I have something downstairs. I definitely think you will think 100% right to that orb. This is a very similar magic. It is almost on point with exactly what was happening with the group. She's just inside and she's got some library books open. And she kind of looks back over at you. She's like, "Oh, you've opened it. Um, no orbs. I was just going through some of Thalivar's notes. Hi, Justin." I don't think cracked, but I've gotten some information from him. Oh, that's good. Vanfyr's here. Huh. Nope, there's no need for anything that's PvP. He might be adamant that he forgot something downstairs, but there's no reason for anything to be a competition. No, you are not doing anything player versus player. There's nothing that's a problem here. He is simply just adamant. He just hold up. He is simply just adamant that he needs something from downstairs. It doesn't mean that he needs to continue to go downstairs. But you guys can bring him back. You can get his attention. But in the long run, right now, he has no thought in his head that he was ever supposed to enter any room. It doesn't exist in his head. The biggest thing that you guys could say here is at some point, like, why did you walk away from that entrance? And he would be like, oh, what entrance? But for what it's worth right now, he just thinks he's supposed to go downstairs. You guys can bring him back. There's no problem at all on that level. He's simply... Hold up. It is simply one of those things where he is just thinking, I need to go downstairs. But when you stop him, you don't even have to, like, really grab him. You just have to get his attention, and he'll look to you all and, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll stay here. You don't have to change it. You guys can just continue on with things. You are supposed to be figuring out this moment where whatever happened, his mind went blank and he forgot everything about entering that room and started to walk away. That was what you guys needed to learn. Any bit of effort to try to gain his attention, he's still like on a blank state. The most you can kind of get out of him at present is, I needed to go downstairs. But you guys are essentially still in that exact same room. He doesn't really walk far away. It's just, like, the point was really for Justin to recognize that this is the exact same spell, that his will was changed by magic. And the moment you step through that arch, something happens to you, and he witnessed Vanfyr did it. There's some really good things in these books. I'm gonna have to keep studying them. I'm fine though. You can go about your things. You don't need anything. I'm okay. I don't require any help. I'm fine. Reading books. Roll a perception, because she is essentially, like, facing that bookshelf right now, so you're looking at her back. So, the last things that you've heard from her is that she remembers studying in the library, which is the second floor. She went down to the first floor to get something. And that's the last thing that she remembers. Gory had mentioned that he had seen her on the third floor. And when he saw her, she was studying a book. But that's when he saw her right before dawn, and she was looking tired and sunken-eyed. And then you all came across her in this room and you yelled for her. She responded, oh, I must have overslept. And you can't really see any signs of how well she is doing or not doing right now. But, like, that's kind of the things that you've noticed, like, you've heard those things that are basically references to what her sleep pattern is. She doesn't remember going to sleep. She didn't know how she got in here. And she immediately went back to studying books that were in front of her that she seemed to have, like, just discovered. Um, that's kind of what you're picking up at this point while you look into the room. So if you all let Vanfyr walk off, or if you remind him that he was thinking he had to go downstairs, he'll get there and he has no clue why he was going downstairs. Again, the point is he forgot that he was walking into the room. That was the magic. He has no reason to feel compelled to go anywhere once any effort was put into stopping him from going there. He simply forgets that he ever wanted to enter that room. And at this point, he might not even remember that there was a room with Sharwyn in it. Going downstairs has nothing to do with this magic. But none of you have an arcana to know anything else about this magic. What you gain the familiarity of, Justin, is the fact that there is a point where you walk that all of a sudden somebody's will is lost and the magic takes over. That's what you're recognizing. So Helke can walk downstairs with Vanfyr. They'll come back up after a few minutes. Vanfyr got down there and didn't know why he was supposed to go there, didn't remember what he was thinking about, didn't know what to look for, so they just come back up. Well, we've long understood that he opened portals to other areas, other planes, and he's filled this tower with them. At some point, he passed away and the tower continued to bring things through the oculus. I've come across some of the magic, how he did it, but perhaps not a full understanding of the ritual. But it's much of his library, at least, focuses on planar travel, planar exploration. Yeah, again, effectively, all that really changed in your head is you don't remember having a will to enter that room. If somebody asked you to go in there again, like, the only thing that would be weird is if somebody said, like, can you try to go in there again? You'd be like, again? I mean, of course I can go in. There's an opening. Your brain just doesn't have a memory of ever thinking about entering that room. All of you would be aware, like, the floor above you has that oculus is the ceiling above you. Like, that part of that crumble of the actual building is the fact that you can see the oculus above you. Sharwyn. Helke, are you going up with Bruno? Gotcha. So yeah, you can head up to the next floor. As you look around, there's no ceiling. It's all in ruins. And besides what seems to be a crane for lifting things to the scaffold, it looks like they're preparing to finish building the scaffold on this level. But in general, there's little more to see than what you kind of could see from below. It seems the construction of this is both the top and the bottom. Like, it goes through the floor and it creates that actual hole in the stone. Yeah, effectively, but like most of the top floor doesn't really exist, so calling that a window at this point, there's next to no structure. But yeah. This is quite literally the Oculus I've been describing. That's what it is. So no. Like, what do you mean by remarkable? What kind of information do you expect? Nope. It looks exactly the same as it looks on the bottom. This would be a great time to have somebody who wields magic. But probably at best, getting close to it, you see the other people who are standing in the hall and kind of like the open area of the the level below you. But that's more or less about the best you're going to get from up there. What are you all doing back at Sharwyn? I think I was in the libraries around 10 or 11 last night. And I remember making a breakthrough with his code where I was starting to recognize when he was talking about the planar beacons. And I wanted to copy that into my journal, which was still in the dining room. But I don't know if I made it there. My last memory is still in the libraries. I think there should just be a good group of our packs down there. And one of them should just be filled with my journals. Most of them will be blank, but they're otherwise all simple bindings, basic leather covers. Nothing complicated. Um, and you can see she's like kind of patting around on herself, kind of like actually like feeling for her books because she is like thinking about them now. And at some point you do like actually notice while you're speaking with her, like, her eyes do seem like sunken in a level where, like, this is what you see when somebody hasn't slept for ages. Like just that like black um tired, I can't even think of like the phrase we usually use for eyes like that. But she very Yeah, bags under her eyes. She very clearly has not slept, even for somebody who claims to have just been woken up having overslept. That's part of what Dagolt needs us to find, is hoping that we might be able to find evidence of what he was doing, or rather what magic he was using. But at present, I don't think we'll ever be able to fix it without fully understanding his procedures and ritual. Everybody who currently has rations on your character, just go ahead and delete those. They all rot and spoil. Every ration in this tower just rotted and spoiled. Yep, every single one of you. Anything that you walked in here with, if it's food, it is garbage right now. And kind of one after the other, all of you would just start to smell just a horrific rot. And there's no wind or no breeze coming off of the ocean. It's just in a moment, you just start to realize just the smell of death, and the rot takes over at some point during the day. It's close to noon here. At some point, you all will go to grab for a ration to have a little bit of a snack or whatever, what have you. And if you don't discover the smell by then, that'll be the time where you open up one of your rations and it's just green, mold, gooey garbage. Just the food. Roll on intelligence. Just an intelligence check. Yeah. Oh, wait. Do you have saving proficiency, or is your intelligence check the same? I feel like it's the same. I think we did 18 as your intelligence. Okay. Yeah, so, you can have enough of an idea that, oh shit, you're the arcane fighter, but you don't have arcana? Um, no, that's just wild to me on some level. So yeah, when you kind of think this over, this is just another one of those pieces of evidence that those guards were not bullshitting. This tower has some sort of vile presence to it. And between the weird things that you've heard Sharwyn, the fact that she woke up in a room she doesn't remember going to sleep in, that there was not an entrance into that room, watching yourself rot in the window, your rations rotting in a moment's notice. There's been a lot of things in this place that you may not have believed in ghosts or cared to hear the ghost stories before, but you're expecting at this point this place has a haunting to it. It is indeed. Uh, what are you looking for? No, like, what do you want it to be? Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish? That you want something attached to the crane, or you don't want something attached to the crane? Like, is it building more scaffolding? Yes. What are you going for, though? Like, what's your aim, the end game? It's in the hallway. Oculus. Yeah, I think it can reach the window. But the window is in the hallway. You guys have already broken through that window. That's what you guys were throwing all of the shit out of. Yes. Nope, you guys had 1 person, 2 person, 3 person hucking shit out of the window. Nope. I described that you saw down the hallway and you saw the 2 entrances. Both of them were blocked. You guys just cleared the western side for her doorway because you left this side open because you could see it from the scaffolding. It's not even a persuasion. She literally is just going to say, no, I've got these books to study and I have my journal in here. I don't need to go out there. So you all can head back to the bottom floor. You're inside of that kitchen area. There's the large table, the 2 exits. At some point, the guards do kind of look in from outside, and you'll see. Do you have Sharwyn? Did you find her? Is she okay? But they're not like walking even near the doorway. They're just like 10 feet away outside. One of them punches the other one in the shoulder. I told you she was acting weird. You're in it? That's the table we use. Just as you're looking around, though. What do you need? What are you looking for? If you go down the hall, we were staying in the room on the north side there. All of our packs should be in there. So they just kind of point you down towards the hall in the northwest there. Or damn it, just the straight up northeast. And as you go in, there's going to be 8 different packs around the room. Depending how far you all go looking through them. You can either pick a pack and tell me which one you're starting with, or you can just go through them all. It's up to you. I think they're all gonna look the same. I don't think from outside you'll be able to see much difference. Do an investigation for me. I guess that would be a perception. So what? What's your perception bonus versus your investigation? No, this is just a jest right now. Right, 22. Um, yeah, I don't think that's a nat 15. Yeah, I don't think that's solid enough to really see a difference between them. They all seem to be pretty traditional soldiers packs. From what you gather is a quick little like overlook. All of like Sharwyn probably got here with next to nothing and basically was given like a fresh pack as like any Lord's Alliance member. Which you already know from her. She's literally the um, court wizard for Daggelt Neverember. It would not be surprising that anywhere she goes, she can command that level of respect slash respondents from the Lord's Alliance, let alone the fact that you know that more than likely many of these soldiers are probably Lord's Alliance who represent Neverwinter. So I think let me have everyone roll a d20, and we're looking for somebody to be over 16. Highest will be 19. So Vanfyr opens a pack, and inside of that one there are 3 journals. So you're pretty sure that this is Sharwyn's pack. Takes you a moment to look through them. You see 2 of them are blank, and the other one has some jottings inside of it. Among some of the other things that you all find in the search, Bruno finds a healing potion. Helke, Bruno, and Vanfyr find a healer's kit inside of theirs. And between you all, there's 123 gold pieces in the 4 bags that you've opened. What were you saying, Vanfyr? There haven't been any notes in her journal for 3 days. Uh, in general, let's see. It's Elliot 25th. I think this is actually going to be Elliot 26th right now. Um, yeah. So this is going to be Elliot the 25th, 26th. So her last journal entry was on Elliot 23rd. And I think that would be roughly around where she's journaling that they've killed Cryovane. The White Dragon is no longer a threat, and it would appear that the dwarves are willing to treat with the humans, and perhaps the Phandelver Pact will be rebuilt. And that's her last journal entry. Actually, no, it would say, I'm going to be leaving to head towards Leyland under request of Lord Daggett. You can go to the next room, check it. It's filled with stores. As you look over it, most everything is absolutely aged. 50, 100, maybe even more. Nothing about that room seems to be of value. But it shows signs of when this place was abandoned on some level. No, and I don't think it was enough that the others would really notice. I think you aged by like 4 years. Yeah, I feel like you're on the point where like you're starting to feel some aches in your movement. You wake up perhaps a little bit stiffer than you did. So there's signs of what happened, but by and large, no. I think when really stressful stuff happens, you might grow like a gray hair in your beard, but like when you guys like solve big problems, like killing the dragon is the kind of shit where like your beard probably went pretty solid black afterwards type of thing. But in general, like I think it would be kind of the type of thing that late 20s is when you get your first gray, but they're almost always temporary, and it's almost always based on how much stress you're carrying. Um, but no, I don't think anything about it would have been terribly outward, especially since I'm pretty sure I rolled like the minimum for how far you aged. As far as the potion goes, when you all do leave that back room, the soldiers are looking on and they yell out like, uh, what did you need in there? Did you just grab her journals? There's a lot of our private things." Do you say that to them? So heading back up to Sharwyn. So when you bring the journal to her, she looks to you and looks over at a desk that's over by the bed, walks over to it, and she grabs a very similar looking journal and picks it up and, "This is my journal. What is that?" "I guess I do, but I've been using this journal." And she's gonna open it up, and seems like the look on her face. Three people could be in the doorway who might be looking at her as you're having this conversation. I feel like Vanfyr, Justin, and maybe one more. Are Helke or Bruno, either of you looking at her? So let me have the three of you roll an insight. It limited it to three people because it's the 5 spaces, or the 3 spaces can like have corner views. Um. So yeah, Helka, as you kind of look at her, you can tell that she's confused. And when she opens the journal and starts to look at it, she recognizes that this is not her journal. But she's still looking at it with the same, like, she's attempting to hold the same face to stick to what she just said, that this is my journal. And you can see that there's like an internal struggle inside of her. I think you as a barbarian will relate this to your rationality outside of combat and how quickly you get lost in the bloodlust of combat. She's having a very similar, like, existential crisis where she's looking at this thing and she doesn't understand why this is both not her journal and this is her journal. Everybody else, she just responds to you, "I have my journal right here." And she looks at the notes and she's reading over them, and you see just the familiarity of somebody who's reading their own notes. I've just been keeping notes of Thalivar's work. And it's pretty significant. It's why I'm here. It's why I'm away from court. It just has some of my notes on his planar beacon, which I think is safe to understand as the Oculus. Artifact used to draw creatures across the planes. It's the script that he used in all of his books for the start of the ritual. So it's the first step in recognizing which books he has are references to the planar beacon. And with such a vast library, it at least gives me a place to start where I need to be looking to find what he devoted his life to. I came here with many. I was prepared to be here for a year or so, trying to at least begin a work on his tower, but I don't um I don't have a reason why I would have switched journals. I usually fill them before I move on to another. That allows me to order them and keep them organized. Organization is, if you can't find it, you have to be able to find the information. We are going to pick up here. Justin asked her to come check out the book that is related to the Oculus that you have in one of the lower levels.
I mean, yeah, obviously he has no idea. He's just like trying to deceive her, entice her out.
She's going to look to you. You've read Thalivar's work. What ability do you have to read my text?
Justin's gonna kind of take half a step back and trying to kind of mind is racing, trying to think of something. It's like your texts.
She shakes her head. My notes? Did you read? You can read my notes?
Just we're able to decipher bits and pieces, but we need your. So we need you to take a look and see if we're right about what we think we found.
Roll a deception at disadvantage. she's going to start an incantation. She speaks about 3 words as she moves her right hand in a little bit of a circle. Her left hand is still holding the other book of notes open in front of her. And as she waves her hand, the stone beneath your feet is going to start to fall into the floor below it until it opens the doorway. After you. And she's going to move her hand to the north. So she's just like pointing with her like open hand, palm up, like kind of waving and pointing, like start to walk to the north.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the stone beneath Justin's feet. I thought like it was like dropping.
Like all the rubble is gone now. All of that stone is gone.
Okay. So yeah, so Justin will start like backing up north, sort of not really sure what's going on, but he'll kind of follow her instruction, not sure what else to do.
Vanfyr will be right behind Justin, like eagerly trying to get out of the way of whatever might be coming, because he feels like he's under pressure.
So everybody has moved out of that hallway?
Yep.
So she's just going to follow behind you. She'll walk out. Show me this book.
So Justin will take the book that assuming Bruno hands it to him, I guess, and he'll hand it over to Sharwyn.
Didn't Bruno put that in a bookshelf?
Yeah, I did. I put it in the bookshelf below us.
So you can walk her down into that library and show her.
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry, I thought we still had it. Yeah, so yeah, in that case, we would kind of bring her back.
Shit was about to hit the fan if you guys tried to call her out of the room to show her something like that. So she'll walk to the stairs behind you. She'll watch you all walk down one level, and she'll follow behind.
So I guess we'll head towards the room where Bruno had put it back on the bookshelf, and I guess Justin will look towards Bruno since he's the one who actually put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, I put it right over here.
Roll an intelligence.
Kind of as they're walking, I guess Justin would also be like, "How are you feeling, Sharwyn? You look a little pale, tired."
So, Bruno, you have no clue where you put it. How do you approach the situation? Do you persuade her that it is the correct book that you hand her? Do you lie to her that it is the correct book that you are handing her?
Since I was standing next to him, would I be able to recall what book it was in place? Since I was standing next to him when he put that in there.
Oh, you can do an intelligence check as well.
Okay.
So it's close enough that you can recall, but I still ask the same question to Bruno. Are you trying to deceive her when you go to hand a book to her? Or are you trying to persuade her?
It is definitely persuasion.
So when he reaches for the wrong book, what are you thinking, Vanfyr?
I am going to interject and just tap him on the shoulder, kind of trying to, in a sense, notify him that I do know the location of the book, and I'm going to instead go in front of him and grab the correct book.
Let me have the two of you roll dexterity checks. two of the slowest characters, and they crushed it really low level. Yeah, so Bruno, he's just gonna kind of like tap to your shoulder kind of subtly and like reference to where the actual book is. Are you gonna go for the real book, or are you going to try to persuade her that the book you are handing her is the correct book?
I'll go for the real book. I'll just
So roll a persuasion at advantage. She'll take the book from Brunel, look over the cover for a moment. Looks back down. She flips it open to a random page about a quarter of the way through. And you understand this.
It seemed important. Kind of not really answering her question, trying to evade.
A wizard's life is important. Of course, his notes will be important. What did you gather from this?
Justin's going to kind of like glance towards the others, kind of a little bit uncertainly, and then he's just going to be like, "What do you gather from it?"
Oh, quite wonderful ritual. A beautiful creature. It seems Thalivar invited this into our plane, and it rests just through this window. And you're just gonna see as her pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger of her right hand just like dance in a little order real quick. As she's reading over the book, you hear a little bit of an incantation from her. And there's just a crack of thunder outside. But maybe the spell doesn't work. Perhaps it's moved on.
Sharwyn, how are you feeling?
Feel fine. I don't think there's anything in particular wrong.
This is going to sound a bit of a strange question, but before you came downstairs with us, what's the last thing you remember?
You all cleared the rubble and found me locked in that room. I don't remember going to sleep there. I just woke up there at some point. I'm not sure what brought it all on.
Do you mind if we take a look at that journal of yours?
Of course not. And she'll just open up her cloak and pull out the journal, hand it over to you.
So Jess will open it up and try to find the most recent entry.
It's all written in the exact same text as all of the rest of this library.
Justin's going to kind of raise his eyebrows, close the book maybe a little kind of very quickly, kind of almost like slam it shut and hand it back to her.
She'll open her cloak back up and puts it back into a little, like, book holster. Just a little, like, leather thong, basically, that holds the book.
You remember how long you were up there?
Up in the room? I slept in late. If I went to sleep at 11, I guess maybe I've been exhausted. I slept for 12 hours.
This this journal, and Jess will take out the journal that they found in her pack. This last entry is from 3 days ago. I think you've been up there a bit longer than you think.
Uh, don't know what that could mean. I might have. And she's just kind of like fidgeting with her hands. She's touching her face, like kind of trying to think. You see as she like is almost like tapping parts of her body. I must have mistaken which journal I was working with and grabbed a different one.
So Justin's going to try to like subtly gesture towards one of the others to kind of maybe interpose themselves near the door to the library room, and he's going to like, Sharwyn, I think maybe some fresh air would do us some good. A bit musty in here.
You guys are standing on the one that is broken away from the wall, and it's like a full open wall.
Vanfyr's going to start to move towards the doorway.
Like the whole like eastern side of this room is open when you say you might need fresh air.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna look at you. There's plenty of fresh air. What more could I possibly need? I'm in my element.
Well, sorry, but I'm starving. And the lady here, she says she slept in. So I'm guessing she hasn't had breakfast yet. So maybe we should get something to eat.
Excellent idea, Helke.
Yes. Food would be good. Perhaps it would be a good time to eat. To the dining room?
Yes, let's head down to the dining room and get something to eat already. As he secretly is holding off from like a reaction to like he's holding a reaction to Cass like whole person if she tries to go back up the stairs to the third floor.
So burn the spell slot. When you cast the spell to
Right.
hold a reaction, you're casting the spell. And
Okay,
you
then.
have 6 seconds to use it. So if you go to do that, you are going to burn through a lot of spell slots very quickly, and you are casting spells. So it's going to look like that very quickly. So you can
Okay,
hold person, but it's one of the things, like, if this is your enemy, she's gonna know quite quickly.
Okay. I guess I'm only holding the reaction when we're at the staircase. Is that reasonable? Like,
And
not as immediately, but
what's the trigger that you are going to wait for?
if she goes up to the third floor, for no reason at all.
You're gonna find she acts the exact same way, where she'll follow you all, but she's inviting you to walk ahead of her. So if you would like to lead, but in the long run, she's been moving through this place after you all.
Vanfyr's gonna start heading down to the dining room.
Yeah, same with Helke.
After you, Sharwyn, Justin, he's gonna try and kind of like make like kind of like a gallant sort of gesture, offering to let her go first.
There's no need. You are most welcome in my house to be the guest and take the leisure.
Uh, very well. And Justin will start heading after Vanfyr.
I'm gonna take a good look into her eyes.
What are you looking for?
I'm gonna check if there's something in her eyes that is different from a womanly like gesture. Like if she's acting more of a man than a woman, because that seemed off to me.
You can roll an insight, but I'm not sure what that look is in eyes. So I don't know what you're looking for. The DC's still going to be pretty high.
Okay.
She seems to be acting normal.
All right. Well, I'll guess I'll head down the stairs as well.
So she will follow behind you, and you all will progress down into the dining room. And she'll look out to the guards when she gets there. Hello, Kaz, Gory, won't you join us? Some breakfast. Son, it's well past time that we should have broken our fast. And they kind of look in, begging your pardon, ma'am, but we've been told to guard the tower, and we don't have leave to step away from our post, even if one should have eaten by now. And while she's still looking out directly at them, they're just going to point towards all of you. And it's like that quick little point, like their fingers like shuddering, like pointing to you, pointing to her, pointing to you, pointing to her. And you can clearly tell these people are like, this is her acting weird. Like, this is why we say, don't go in that place. They're not verbally saying anything, but their hands are saying it. But she's otherwise just standing near that western door. They're saying they're not going to enter. She'll turn back to you all. Well, shall we? I don't seem to have any food on me.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen any food in this tower. You know, maybe we should go tavern, get some breakfast there.
Yes,
how
I
perfectly,
second Helke.
how perfectly splendid. When you go to the tavern, would you be so kind as to... If they have elk, That would be wonderful. Please, when you go to the tavern, get me some elk.
You won't be coming with us then?
No, no. I can't be bothered for such things.
Perhaps we'll see what we can find. Justin's a little kind of put off by the guard's reactions, and he's getting a very sort of eerie sense of something might be wrong. So he's starting to think maybe he wants to kind of get out of there. But sure, we can find you some elk.
Well, that would be so splendid of you. Will you be long? I'm famished. It's been... She just pauses for what feels like minutes. It's been so long since I've eaten.
We'll be as quick as we can. And he's going to start kind of walking over towards the door, towards the guards.
And as Jess is doing it, that's gonna be. Oh, and sorry, Helk, by the way. What's your name?
There's a sudden gust of wind. I think your torch would be out by now. Do you think you relit other torches?
Yeah, I would have really gorgeous.
So, whatever torch you're essentially on at this point blows out as you ask her what her name is, and she'll look back at you. Sharwyn Hucrele. Have we not met? And she just rubs her forehead. And as she's rubbing her forehead, up above, you just hear a loud stomp. Could have been a wall falling. It could have been an incredibly heavy footstep. Could have been a floor collapsing. But something incredibly heavy and incredibly large just hit a floor up above you.
Perhaps that thing hasn't moved on. I think we should. Justin's kind of trying to be as quietly as possible. The others should.
I'm
Get
gonna
out of
go
here.
over to Justin, and I'm gonna make a hand motion to come down to my level so I can whisper in his ear.
All right, so yeah, Justin will kind of crouch down a little bit.
I whisper into his ear. I have a very, very bad feeling that something's not right.
Justin's gonna give a very small nod and be like, "Agreed. I think we should go."
I second that.
Vanfyr is going to try to appeal to Sarwyn since he kind of had the time with her to try to get her to be like, well, I rather enjoy being in your company. I really would wish that you would come with us to come and grab your meal. It would be better prepared and more delicious if you came and ate it with us than us coming back and forth. I don't know how long that would be.
If you'd like, you could ask for it raw. I'll cook it here.
Do you have the cooking utensils here?
And as she finishes saying here, let me have a dexterity saving throw from Helke.
Is it from something I see, or is it just?
For now, just let me see the roll. No advantage. Roll a perception check for me, Helke. You get an eerie feeling as you hear her say this about the raw meat. You see one of her eyes move and stare into yours, and in a moment beforehand, it seems as almost she has a second head that turns to you, blows a kiss. If you would like, you can rage right now.
I'd like to rage.
You're about to get slashed 6 times as your stomach is torn to shreds. So you should. What's your AC? 15?
Yep, 50.
I think I could have dropped any character except for you, and I think letting you rage might keep you up, but this might be horrendous. So you are going to see as a creature, just this dark, black creature. It's shrouded in mist, just pops out of nowhere, directly in front of you as it's shredding at your stomach. Let's see. I think 3 of those are going to hit with a 22, 26, and a 20. And they're going to do... Oh shit, it has advantage. My bad. So first 2 would be the 19, second 2 is a miss, third 2 is a hit. So this will be the 4th will hit, the 5th, 15 will hit, and the 6th. So it's actually going to be 5 hits. And it is going to do 5d8 plus 20 slashing. So you'll take 21 slashing, which will be reduced to 20 damage. And then you are going to take 10d6 psychic, which will not be reduced. So you are going to take a total of 56 damage as this black creature starts to slash out at your stomach in the moment that Sharwyn seems to step out of her body and blow a kiss to you before she falls back into her body, and I need everybody to roll initiative. So actually, for what it's worth, let me have you all place your tokens on the board. Can't have a haunted house session go without you guys actually starting combat, and you want to walk away and go to the dining hall to get some grub. Come on.
How do I move my character token onto the map?
If you go over to the character section where you see their actual name, you should be able to drag yourself out onto the board. Excellent.
Oh my god. Well. Alright, boys, let's... Okay.
That's one of those things where it just does not pay to dump dexterity. Strength characters are at such a fucking terrible disadvantage in this game.
Whole turn gone.
In the long run, you'll still get it. So let's see. She was looking at Valen, and it happened to help. So after it slashes into you, it is going to run up the wall. And as it moves around, these are 40-foot ceilings, so it's probably realistically, or 40-foot floors, so it's probably like a 32-foot high ceiling. It is going to run up the ceiling and pretty much be directly over you all, but 30 feet away in the sky. What is your dexterity, Helk? +2? So you're like 4?
Yes, +2.
14?
14 exactly.
That may be quite unfortunate. I rolled you again. I think my dice just hate you, Chris. Like, that's nothing about you. The first roll was a 2 on an alphabetical order, and Helk comes after Bruno. And then once we put you in initiative order, number 1.
Oh god.
So this is to see if it gets its flurry back. It does not, so you don't have to worry about it attacking you 6 times. And it won't have advantage because it's not effectively coming out of nowhere on these attacks. So this will just be 2 claw attacks at you. It needs to roll a 7 or lower to miss. That's a miss, and that's going to be a hit, and it's going to do a d8 plus 4 slashing. So 5 slashing will be 2 piercing damage, or slashing damage rather. And then it's going to do 6 psychic damage. So you'll take a total of 8 damage. And then it's going to go to you. Wait a second, 1 second. Yeah. It's lighted. It's lit enough here that it does not have the option. So yeah, it's going to go to you, Helke, to respond as this creature slashes at your stomach.
And it's still in front of me now. It hasn't run up the ceiling.
Oh yeah, the way that it actually plays out there, it's going to like come right back basically. So yeah, now it's actually back on the floor.
Well, I'm gonna attack it with my hand.
That will hit. As always, if you roll and it doesn't show the damage, just roll damage right away. You hit, you get a solid chunk out of it, and feel like you cut into it real well.
See, I'm a bit confused when it comes to attacking with melee. Okay, so I have 2 actions. Oh, what, 2 attacks.
So you can do 2 attacks with that hand axe, and then if you have a second hand axe, you can use your bonus action to make a 3rd attack.
Oh, okay. So then I attack again with the same hand.
But yeah, your 2 main attacks you can do with your main weapon. And until you get another magical hand axe, it's definitely always going to be best to do the 2 main.
Yeah. So I'm rolling now.
That will hit as well as you sink into it again. Feel like you're getting pretty good cuts into it.
And then bonus action, my other hand axe.
So this is the one where, yeah, it's got to be a separate roll. The damage will be a little bit different. Oh, you know what? There's 4 extra damage because you are raging too.
Right.
So that one's going to miss, as a 10 is not enough to cut through its armor.
And then that's the end of my turn.
It will go to Bruno.
All right. Bruno just sees this thing materialize and attack his bud. So I'm gonna return the favor by slashing it with my magical longsword.
One, two, both attacks are going to hit, dropping another 18 damage into it. It's going to seem bloodied at this point. It seems to be like weeping, almost like a blue viscous material that almost seems to bubble as it comes out of this creature.
And I'm also going to cast my bonus action for Hunter's Mark.
In general, I would say Hunter's Mark first, but can you roll multiple times for Hunter's Mark damage once it's up?
Trying to read this.
Yeah, it's whenever you hit it. So you can roll 2d6 here. But in general, you should Hunter's Mark and then attack something. Because normally you would not be able to get that damage when you do it after your attacks. But you can
So
click that
2d6?
pink 1d6 twice, or you can just roll 2d6. And then after that, it's going to go to Justin.
Yeah, so sort of equally startled, seeing this thing kind of materialize.
Oh, I fucking lagged.
Ripping in. So seeing it ripping into Helke, Justin just going to, he'll sort of draw his rapier. Can't really escape from this thing, so he'll just draw his rapier and stab at it.
It's going to hit, dealing another 19.
And I can't really, I don't think I can get past it or move or anything, so I'm just going to stand there. That'll be my turn.
It's pretty severely injured right now. Sharwyn is going to raise her left hand, and the book is going to draw out of her robes and go directly into her hand as she begins an incantation, and she starts to utter these words that seem absolutely inhuman. Let's see. I feel like... Oh, this is the wrong. Victor was the one, I think. What languages do you speak, Vanfyr? I don't have your stuff in my notes yet.
Elvish and Common.
Golden. Yeah, so she starts to mutter a language that seems absolutely unfamiliar to all of you. Doesn't sound like any words you've ever heard spoken. Justin, you might recall at times Victor used this language, but that's even the closest. Like, that would already be unfamiliar and kind of lost to the fog of war. And as she starts to utter these words, the floor beneath the five of you is going to start to melt into a dark black pool of ichor, and tentacles are going to start to rise out of it. I think I am going to need a Constitution saving throw, but give me 1 second to bring the spell up.
Could I reaction here for my Warcaster feat and cast a spell for an opportunity of attack?
Warcaster lets you react to a spell?
Yeah, it says you can use your reaction to make an opportunity of attack to cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action and targets only that creature.
It's not targeting only a creature. It's an area of effect.
Okay.
Well, this does suck ass on some level. It's a dexterity save. So if everybody can make a dexterity save for me.
Oof.
I think that will mean that Justin pretty much will take no damage, most definitely. And Helke will have advantage, but he doesn't.
Yeah, my dex roll is pretty bad, so probably take half. I don't know what the DC is, but
My rolls are just so bad this game.
This is actually going to be broken anyways. It's going to happen on the start of your turns. So I don't think there's a big reason to play it any different from what it is. But this will essentially take effect on your turns. But yeah, Justin, Vanfyr, Bruno will save, so he'll take half. And then Helke saved, so he'll take half. Justin, can you actually either post the ability or tell me, is it only reducing damage? For that's evasion, right?
evasion, yes, damage only.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm pretty sure. I'll double check, but
I think you'll take half damage and you'll be restrained as the tentacles latch onto your feet. Bruno's going to take half damage and he will not be restrained, and Helke will take half damage and not be restrained. And then Vanfyr will take full damage. But again, effectively, this damage is going to happen on your turns. But it will go to Vanfyr will take. I think for what it's worth, we can just do the 3d6 and have it play like that. And it's going to be the 20-foot area. So it's close to that spacing there. Only damage? Word. So yeah, it will go to Vanfyr. You will take the full 7 damage and you are restrained, which reduces your movement, makes attacks at disadvantage, and I think you'll be making dexterity throws at disadvantage now.
Okay.
And I think Sharwyn's just going to kind of move back a little bit, but that's it. Quickly notice she moves back, but she doesn't leave the floor plan. So Sharwyn just dropped this spell on you all. The creature is severely bloodied. What would you like to do, Vanfyr?
Oh, it's my go. I didn't know if I had the turn or not. Because I rolled a 0.
No. You're just at the end of initiative. I do not make people suffer for having such things.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
definitely a house rule your other DM rocks out to make you skip a turn.
Okay. So, can I like roll strength to get out of this effect of being trapped?
I think that's an athletics.
Okay. Like, could I attempt to do that? And that would take up an action, or how would that work?
It is, you can do strength or dexterity, but they are specifically strength or dexterity. It is not athletics or acrobatics. There's no proficiency for this.
Okay, so I'll just do the strength saving throw then.
No, it's just a strength check.
Oh, okay.
I think that's good enough that you can break free.
Okay, and so does that use up an action, or is that just a check?
That's your action.
Okay, well, so I'm going to then move out of that aura. to the east side of that table, and then like right here, not right there, like right here. Damn it! Let me do it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
But, like,
hardly ever
this
going to be
where-
the same grid as the actual shit. It's really hard to
Okay.
get maps that actually match the grid that's drawn on them. So yeah, that'll take you like what is that? That's going to take you 20 feet of movement. Moving through the tentacles, even when you're not attached to them, is still difficult.
Okay.
But you would still have either be free of it or simply have 10 more feet of movement.
Okay. Is where I'm at fine, or do you want me to move closer?
Oh, that's fine.
All right. So for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Shadow Blade on myself. And then that'll pretty much be the end of my turn.
And it's going to go back to the star spawn. See if it gets its slashes. It is going to slash twice into Bruno. The first attack, big ol' miss. Second attack, 17. I think that's going to miss you, Bruno.
Yeah, that's a miss. Yeah, so both of those attacks miss.
Then it is going to bonus action, going to disengage from combat. And it is going to run back up the wall and over towards Vanfyr. So it's going to be 30 feet above Vanfyr.
Wait, it has a bonus action to disengage?
It does indeed. It's almost like it's a rogue. It's going to be Helke.
So how much damage do I take?
7, and I think it's bludgeoning, so you're going to take half of that. I think you passed yours, so you are not restrained, but it is difficult terrain to move inside of that box.
Would
So
I be able
it'll-
to get to?
Well, no, I think that said 15, so your last movement's going to be out of it. I think it'll take you 25 to get to her.
Would he take half of half if he's still raging, or I'm not sure. Does that work? If he passed and he's also
Yeah.
resistant?
So 7, 3, it's going to be 1 damage.
So I can't reach Sharwyn.
No, I think it would be 25 feet to get to Sharwyn. Because you're
Okay, so
measuring at 15. I think it's going to take you 20 feet to get out of it, and then 5 feet to get to her.
Yeah, because she's standing very good in the opening, so I'm gonna use my charger. So I'm gonna run at her and push her out of the doorway, like out of the tower, if I can.
Well, that's just fucking cheating. I don't think I have an answer to that. I also don't think I have a ghost prepared. How's the actual charge work?
Sure how the charge works. If it's just a strength, a contested. Sure.
Like reading Shadowblade.
Oh, yeah, I have to use my action to dash to do it. So I'm all dashing doing this.
It seems like it's just an automatic push. So that's an interesting one. It is normally not easy to pull a ghost out of a creature, but I do not think Thalivar is going to leave this temple.
It looks like a shove is his strength contested by her athletics. Or dexterity, acrobatics.
But it doesn't say that he's going to take a shove check, is what I mean about the feat. I think his feat lets him automatically do it in the same way that when Victor hits people with his Eldritch Blast, he just gets to push them away or towards him.
Oh, so it's not the shove like attack, it's just...
Oh, it does say at the end,
shove.
though, if you choose to shove
was
and
gonna
you
say.
succeed.
That if you succeed, well, and you succeed, so it should be rolled for it at least.
Yeah, I was reading it as like he takes the shove like attack.
Yeah, I think they could have solved that by or shove the target instead of having like the actual like finishing line. So yeah, you're going to feel a struggle as she tries to resist your will here. But roll your strength check. Crushing it. I think you have advantage on that anyways.
Yeah, I have advantage on strength checks. It's a rage.
I don't even have a ghost token right now. She's going to be some random undead creature. Ellipses are one of my favorites. She's going to be an ellip. So Sharwyn is going to go flying out of the door.
Yeah, now she goes flying. I'm gonna. Helke's gonna go, sorry, lady!
Honestly, I think you did a good favor. Getting her out of this situation. Now, what the hell is that thing?
So as you push her out, there's just a wisp of like cloudy blue energy in front of you. And Helke, you're gonna recognize this is whatever blew you the kiss before. It's the same eerie feeling. This is whatever has been in this place. And you all know enough that this is the spirit of Thalivar. And it's going to go to Bruno if you are done.
Yeah, that should have been, my action and bonus action. I can't do anything more.
Alright, so Bruno's going to try to get out of this thing as well. It's like 20 feet of movement to get out of here because of rough terrain.
Yep, you're looking at rough terrain. It's probably 2 to get out, so it's 20 feet to get out, basically.
Alright,
And
so
then the
then
next would be 5.
I'll have 5 movement left once I get out. Okay. So right beside Hulk, I'll be. And then I have 5 feet of movement. Does that get me close enough to...
No, it's 25 to get out. Like 20 feet to the edge,
you said
and
20.
then 5 more is out.
Oh, 5 more is out. Okay. Okay, so that's all my movement. I guess I shall cast, since my... Well, actually, my Hunter's Mark is still on there, so I guess I have to choose something else.
I think you can bonus action to move the Hunter's Mark, or you have the ability to make something happen against that creature. It's up to you. But I'm pretty sure Hunter's Mark is bonus action to move it. Oh no, my bad. It's when the
Actually-
creature drops to 0 that you can bonus action to.
Yeah. So I'll take a different bonus action to Misty Step toward her.
So, I mean, if you Misty Step out of the center, you have 25 feet of movement still, wherever you might want to go.
I think gonna be between the creature and the ghost, like right here.
I mean, you could have walked to there too, so you don't even have to Misty Step if you want to go to there.
Wait, I thought you said I didn't have any movement left because I got to get out of the thing.
Gygaxian geometry is not normal geometry, so it's 2 spaces to move to any part from the center of that square. So it's 20 feet to get to the edge of it on any location, and you were in like dead center of the square. So it's 25 feet to pretty much get to any spot outside of that square for where you were. That's one of the things, like, they never wanted to deal with the Pythagoras' theorem, so they don't. Everything is 5 feet, whether it's a diagonal or an edge.
Man, that is very weird.
It's stupid, but it's how everything works. You have to homebrew stuff to not play it like that.
Yeah. Well, now that my bonus action's done, I am going to attack this thing that still has the Hunter's Mark on. Because Hunter's Mark is concentration and Misty Step isn't.
Oh, you will have to make a concentration check because you will still take 3 damage bludgeoning at the start of your turn.
Concentration check?
It's a constitution save. In particular, there's no concentration check. Alright, yeah, you're good. So, roll those attacks. Or rather, roll the first one, because you might kill the creature in the first attack. Severely bloodied. Still rolled multiples. First one is going to
Well, yeah,
miss.
I did roll multiples because I have an extra attack.
Yes, but when I say to roll 1, it's because you can kill the creature in 1 attack. If you roll twice, you're still attacking the creature, whether it dies or not, and that second attack is gone. When you have extra attack, it just means you get to roll 2 attacks when you take the attack action. So if that first attack would have killed it, you could have saved the second attack to wait and see and spin around and attack the ghost. But your first attack missed anyways. The second attack just hits it. 9 damage is going to be enough that it kills it, even without the Hunter's Mark.
Alrighty. Nice. And that'll be the end of my turn.
Gonna go to Justin. You are restrained and inside of the tentacles, so you're going to take half of the damage. You'll take 3 bludgeoning, and then you can do a dexterity check or a strength check to try to free yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll do dexterity. Oh, but I have disadvantage on it. It's still better than strength.
Yeah, you are disadvantaged while restrained. That'll do. So you have your movement. It's going to take 20 feet to get outside. After that, it'll be normal.
Okay, so I just get essentially move out here, and my action. I don't know if I can. I don't know. Can I see this creature well enough to try and actually get insightful fighting on it? That would work against a kind of corporeal thing.
It doesn't specifically say anything. Go for it.
And regardless, that'll be the end of my turn for now.
You can gain your insightful fighting. It's going to go to Sharwyn. Let's see how she reacts. Can't get the 1 on that one. Let's see. Speaking a different language, Sharwyn is going to drop the book in her hand as she reaches in with her right hand underneath her robes, pulling out another book. She's going to quickly flip it open and a quick incantation, and she's going to reach out with her left hand, calling out Thalivar's name as a finishing mark of the incantation as she switches to common from Vanfyr would recognize this as Elvish. As she switches from Elvish to common, you will all recognize that she names Thalivar in the end of this spell, and he is going to try to save and fail. The ghost is going to do nothing. It doesn't move, doesn't budge in the least bit, and it's going to go to Vanfyr.
Okay, so I'm going to. Can I move around Bruno on the right side of him to get an attack close enough to the to Thalivar's ghost?
Give me 1 second. Oh, son of a bitch. I feel like Sharwyn would be more intelligent than myself. It's actually going to get a chance to move and act. It's going to spin around to her and look outside of the tower. You silly child. You have no power here. And it's just going to crumble her to the ground as it reaches out with the hand. And then it is going to... let me have everybody make a wisdom saving throw as it screams out in a horrific yell. Pierces through everybody. Crushing! So Justin and Vanfyr, the two of you are good. Everybody else is afraid or frightened of Helke and Bruno are frightened of Thalivar right now. Ooh! DC 13. Helke, roll a D4. Roll low. Roll really low. How old is Helke?
He's 24.
He's about to get older. Roll a D4. You are now 44 years old as you watch as he yells into the room behind him, and Helke, just his flesh becomes looser, and he's still tight and strong. His beard grows before your eyes, and it grays. His hair starts to gray. You just aged 20 years.
By the gods!
See about the guards outside. Oh yeah,
My
they're
God,
fucked.
what sorcery is this?
Oh shit. Yeah, two of those guards just got 30 years older. Those are going to be completely different NPCs when you guys see them next. My bad, Vanfyr. Now it is back to you. Where did you want to go? My apologies.
No, you're good. So so is that AoE ability out now?
Yeah, I don't know where to go with the concentration on that because I feel like that was Sharwyn's concentration, and when she got pushed back, she would have effectively started to regain herself, but she used the concentration spell was her next spell. So I think yes.
Okay, so I'm going to move to the left of Bruno and get right in front of the ghost. And from my understanding from Shadow Blade is that it counts as a simple melee weapon, which I'm proficient in, so that should just be a strength roll, right?
Oh yeah,
Attack.
you're a fighter. You're proficient in everything. Yeah.
Right. So that would just be a strength check for me to see if I hit, correct?
Oh, as far as using it?
Yeah.
Just roll a d20. We'll add your strength, and your proficiency bonus at level 7 is +3 right now.
Yeah, +3 proficiency, and I have a +2 to strength.
Yeah, so you'll have a +6. Just roll a d20. So a 21 will hit it.
Okay, and then I'm going to. That'll be 2d8.
Shadowblade doesn't give you an actual. Oh, that's interesting. I would have
Yeah,
thought it would give you
it
a
really
d20.
confused me when I first read it. So I'm assuming that's 5, and then for my other.
But that's the psychic damage.
Yes. I don't think it does.
I don't think it does anything else. I think it's just
Yeah,
the
no, I
2d8.
think it's just. Yeah. But so I'm gonna attack it again. So is 12 high enough to hit it or no?
You do sink into it again. It doesn't have a body, so it's definitely not wearing armor.
Okay, so then another 8 psychic to it.
Anything else from you, Vanfyr?
If I move back, it won't get a opportunity attack on me because it's focused on Sharwyn, correct?
You can try, but it's not terribly focused on her. It turned around and made her crumble to the ground, but it also did that horrific, its horrifying visage.
I think that I'm going to attempt to move back.
It is going to swing out at you. I think a 16 is going to miss.
That's a miss.
So you are welcome to finish your move. I think you've used 10 feet or so to get to where you're at. And it's going to go to Helke.
And I am frightened. Do I have
Your
to
attacks are at disadvantage. You cannot move closer to it, but you happen to still be standing right next to it. Go Reckless. That's just me suggesting. Reckless is a really great thing for barbarians. There's a single creature, you're not like in danger of being overwhelmed. It might fuck you up with advantage, but in the long run, Reckless is a pretty good way to treat that.
Yeah, reckless attack and 2 times with
Yeah.
my hand axe +1.
In general, I would say, like, if you have a single creature that is your enemy, it's probably safe for you to go Reckless as the barbarian, almost no matter where your health is at. So 19 will hit, dealing 8 damage. Actually 10 damage. This is one of those things where D&D Beyond is great about rules, but it does not know to add the plus damage when you click that you are raging. 14 will hit, dealing another 10 damage.
And then as a bonus action, my regular hand axe, see if that even works.
Thalivar's looking pretty fucked up. He's wispy. 24 will hit, dealing less damage, but it still seems to fuck with his incorporeal nature. On Helke, we'll go to Bruno.
Now, same thing with me. Do I could stay here and still attack him?
You're frightened as well, right? Like the two of you were the frightened ones?
Yeah, we're the fighting ones.
You're just at disadvantage.
Can I use my bonus action for Channel Divinity?
Most certainly. What would you like to do?
This one.
Yep, you can burn it, and you'll just have straight attack rolls.
Nice.
First will hit. Second will hit. And Thalivar is going to dissipate, seemingly into thin air. Nothing is left behind.
Well struck, Bruno. Let's get the hell out of here.
Maybe we should go check on Sharwyn, see how she's faring after just being basically, I believe that's
Possessed. She was possessed.
Sharwyn's looking pretty fucked up. I think you guys got close. Oh, wait, no. Did you guys even attack her? Or did Chris just charge her right off the bat?
Yeah, he just charged her right off the bat.
All right, I didn't mark down any hit points. Yeah, she looks perfectly fine. She's walking right back inside, and she's like, I need to return to my work. I have so much to accomplish.
How about you take a break from this tower? After all, you just got possessed once. We don't want you to get possessed again.
This is a portal between planes where he has brought creatures through from other realms of existence. Everything about this tower is a danger to the whole world. I serve Daggelt. He has ordered me to come to a conclusion whether we need to destroy it or whether we can stop it. I don't need a break. I have to finish my work.
Is there anything we can do to help?
I would love a bite to eat. Do you all have any rations?
I shake out my spoils.
Yeah, how could we do the same? Like, rummage around his backpack and like, ew. No.
Maybe if you could go to an inn or a pub and bring us back some food, that would be wonderful.